Now here we are.
Seven o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. It's very, very nice to see so many people out. Must be the good weather. So we'll start off with calling our meeting to order. Moved by Councillor McGuinness, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that this meeting be open at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. And then next we have the adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the draft agenda presented to Council and dated the 30th day of January 2024 be adopted as amended by adding under item 11, closed session, section 239B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Hearing none, we'll move forward to number 4, is the adoption of the previous minutes. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGuinness, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 9th, 2024 be adopted as circulated. But before I move forward, before we carry this motion, I'm going to ask our Deputy Mayor Corbett to would like to speak to these the minutes of this meeting.
Sure, thank you, Your Worship. Just want to circle back on conversations and an Integrity Commissioner report that came to Council during our last Council meeting. Wanted to bring forward again that this Integrity Commissioner report was brought forward by Solomon and Amy Kazi against Councillor Featherstone, claiming that he had a conflict based on an interaction that happened in July 2022 with the summer camp before this Council meeting, or before this Council term. Through the Integrity Commissioner's findings, I'll actually read the summary. After carefully reviewing the submission of the parties and the evidence obtained during the course of my investigation, I find the following. The respondent did not have any pecuniary or financial interest in this matter. There's no clear evidence that the respondent was biased in his decision-making regarding the complainant's property, and the respondent did not contravene Section 10 of the Township of Bonfield Code of Conduct. I think it's important to understand that this Integrity Commissioner report cost more than $10,000. While I think it is great for the citizens to be able to hold their council accountable through an Integrity Commissioner, I would encourage those citizens looking to do so to have a true understanding of what Section 10 of the Code of Conduct is, what a financial pecuniary responsibility is, because once this actually starts to transpire, there is a significant cost to the taxpayers that we all have to share that burden. And again, when it comes out that there is no findings and the claim is baseless, it's actually really unfortunate that we have to share that burden. So I would just encourage our citizens to ensure that before they file an Integrity Commissioner report or findings or claim, that they understand what it is, that perhaps they can have conversations with our CIO to help if there's any findings that we can help alleviate an Integrity Commissioner report. But I wanted to close the loop and once again just stress that there were no findings. Councillor Featherstone has acted with integrity, continues to act with integrity, and I'm looking forward to putting this matter to bed. So
I'll report on the website.
Oh, thank you. And I will mention that as per the rules, there is the full report you can find on the Township of Bonfield website. if anybody's interested in reading the entire complaint and the findings. So
Thank you.
thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Corbett. Now I'll ask that this motion be carried. All in favor? Carried. So presentations and delegations, there are none. So then we will go to staff reports. We have a motion. Do you want to report anything? We have the report.
You have the report. If you have any questions in regards to the report, I'm
Okay,
open to comment.
I'll go with the motion, and then if council has any questions, I can
For sure.
ask you, yeah? Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett. The council hereby receives the report regarding services provided by the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, and further that council enters into the agreement with the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority for categories 1, 2, and 3 services mandated under their jurisdiction in accordance with RSO 1990, Chapter C27, Conservation Authorities Act. I'll ask any questions.
Thanks, Your Worship. So just for clarity, what we have asked of staff is to provide a report, wanting to do our due diligence to make sure that it's a pretty big amount of money that we, as taxpayers, send to the Conservation Authority, exploring options to see what options are out there, making sure that we're getting value for the funds that we are providing to the Conservation Authority. What I read in the report is that we are legislated and mandated to, in fact, 98% of what we pay for is mandated and legislated for us to pay for the Conservation Authority. It was a good report, actually. It was very well written, so appreciate that, which is also on the website. I don't know if you have additional information to add to that.
So if we're mandated, why are we voting on how many years we're locked into them for?
I believe it's the options, right, that we're voting.
It's also to
The
give
Conservation
clarity,
Authority themselves is mandated, but then there are options that they provided previously that now we have to pay for, right?
Right, so there is always an agreement. It's just that they had a big review. However, the province has frozen their fee structure as well again. And they do, now that there has been changes with the Planning Act, there are the services number 2 and number 3, which costs the township approximately $570-ish outside of the mandated amount that the township's required to pay. I think that the $500 provides us with great watershed reporting. We just got a watershed report for 2023. Just for an example, the landfill costs $12,000 a year to monitor the water, and we're paying $500 a year to help monitor the entirety of our watershed. So that agreement sets those standards and creates transparency so that our council is able to know what they're spending their money on, as well as Councillor Featherstone is there as a representative of the council for those conversations to bring back information to the council.
So I would like to know, I don't know if this is possible, so it's for category 1, which is mandatory, it's $32,374.42 for the year, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what is it that I'm getting for $32,374? So if I were to break it down to a KPI, how many septic reviews did they do? What am I getting for my $32,000? What am I getting? My second question is, even though it is only the non-mandatory category, $465.13, and a great watershed report, what do we use it for? And when have we used it?
The watershed reporting actually helps with our official plan reviewing. For instance, it puts the constrictions to protect the waters in Talon Lake, Lake Nosponsing, the development constraint areas. Those are taken into factor when we allow people to sever property or to build homes in those restricted areas, and those comments come from them.
And how often does that change?
it changes as they did a report in 2020. They helped develop the handbook for conserving your natural watershed. And plus they're a bigger group than just our own here in North Bay. There's 35 conservation authorities across the province. And that's what dictates. They're like the upkeeper of our watershed.
Okay,
As it comes to the KPIs, I can't answer that as I don't believe we were provided with that material to comment on.
So the North Bay Water Conservation does, when we have applications or any residents want to develop on their land that is close to a watershed, they also do site visits, and I know that we just had one last week, so there might be maybe 7 to 10 site visits where they come out, look on site, and then they help us determine what the property owner is able to do on their property
7 to 10 site visits per,
year.
per year.
Per year.
Not per claim or.
No, no,
Okay.
no, per year. Yeah, and you
So
know,
that's
so
still a
if
big
some-
number if I was dividing that
Yeah.
by 7.
Yeah, but then it's plus the septic and plus like they do.
Yeah, but you're also paying for septic applications.
Yes, the user. does.
So, I mean, that shouldn't be really in that number, like.
Yeah, but they're not completely cost recovery much like us, when the province has frozen some of their fees and they can't recoup all of the costs associated with the services they provide.
Sorry, and this contract is for how long?
This agreement is a 5-year agreement.
Okay, and is that our only option, is 5 years?
It's the option that they've given all the municipalities, so if we wanted to enter into something that was less than 5 years, I'm sure that we could approach that with them. Don't know, Councilor
I would
Featherstone,
like
was it?
that, maybe to the end of our term, and then we review, or if that's a possibility. Also, I want to say it's an excellent report, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, short of the legislation changing, it could be a 30-year agreement. So, you know, we are going to be taking the chance that within the 5 years, the legislation changes and we no longer are legislated to do this. I honestly, I don't foresee the legislation changing, and that would allow municipalities to recuse themselves from conservation authorities. So it's just a matter of process. for
So,
me.
yeah, I mean, I guess my question is, they have the 5-year and then the option of 4, like 9 years. If we're legislated, why is all that even in there? I mean,
And are we legislated because we're grouped in with with the other 10 municipalities? So do we know that the other 10 municipalities are on board with this amount? And
We had a meeting, actually, the CAO and I, with the MNRF manager of, it's kind of in transfer right now from going from the Ministry of Natural Resources to being taken care of by the Ministry of Environment and Conservation and Parks. So we did speak to the manager that looks after all of the conservation authorities. And even if you were to try to get the other 10 on board, the likelihood is very slim.
Okay. Back to the question. All in favor? Carried. Next, read the motion again. This is a report from Planning Administrator regarding the sale and disposition of land. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone. Whereas Jeffrey and Patrina Beath have requested to purchase Block 21, Section 36M-516, directly abutting their property located at 16 Rock Ridge Lane, Rutherglen, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this purchase in principle and that the planning administrator proceed accordingly. And further, in accordance with the bylaw 2007-49 and bylaw 2016-19, Jeffrey and Patrina Beath shall be responsible for all disbursements incurred by the township and shall submit a $3,000 deposit prior to the commencement of legal work. Any questions?
Do we seek fair market value for the property?
Yes, the bylaw states our policies and procedures for how we dispose of property. Currently, we would just engage legal as there's some easements, conversations that have to occur, et cetera, with the property. So we start there, and then we have to ask council to make the property surplus with another report. And then we have to reach out to get a market value on the property.
Okay,
Or
Dan, you
anything
had a
like that.
question? No? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next, we have Bonneville Fire Department, January 2024 monthly report. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas the fire chief recommended to council to accept Jacob Bretler's application as a volunteer firefighter, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the report from CAO regarding fire department budget. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGuinness, that council hereby approves transferring $15,000 of the unused 2023 fire department budget to a reserve in order to purchase bunker gear for the volunteer firefighters in 2024. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Next, we have Corporate Services Committee, moved by Councillor McGuinness, seconded by Councillor Featherstone. Whereas the Public Works Committee has reviewed documentation on maintenance for private, seasonal, and unmaintained roadways, and whereas the committee hereby deems it diligent to create a policy that ensures consistent processes and maintenance requirements for all properties within the municipality. Now, therefore, the committee recommends to council that staff be instructed to prepare a draft policy for review at a future committee meeting. Any questions? All in
Sorry.
favor?
No, I have a question.
Oh,
Sorry.
you have a question.
Sorry. So I read in the report, assumption of unmaintained municipal roads and private roadways, which is separate, but the difference between unmaintained municipal roads and seasonally maintained, there's a difference. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the one road that we were discussing, Boxwell Road, it is a seasonal road?
Correct, yeah. Right now it is registered in the township as a seasonal road.
Right. So when I read in the report, like, we will maintain it based on priorities, which, I mean, I could only imagine our staff are pretty busy. So I guess my question comes down to liability. So this is a municipal road. It is only seasonally maintained, so we don't maintain it in the winter. Fair enough. But during summer or the other seasons, what liability do we have to maintain that road to any level of standard because it's a municipal road? So tree cutting versus, and it currently doesn't even meet the 66 feet wide, which fair enough. Like, right. So I'm just wondering how do we shield ourselves from a liability standpoint?
So on that note, there were a couple options like put into the report. They were just seeing suggestions on some of the outcomes we could choose on what we want to do. Essentially, it would come down to what policy is in place, I believe, and then the legal definition in that policy of like what the road is. So being as it private or seasonal or unmaintained.
So we could sign both sides, say use at your own risk. That's part of shielding ourselves with some liability from liability.
Correct, yeah.
We could close it
Right.
and turn it into trail. I saw that. And the third was, you said
Is
it
if
was
the
like-
residents bring it up to
Right,
standard.
Yeah, and I know we spoke about that at the last meeting. Residents bring the road back up to par, and then from there on forward, we assume it.
I think that option would always be on the table, but that's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's,
it's just-
I mean, that's a
It's
huge,
just the
yeah.
costs that go
And
on.
you did
Yeah.
break down the cost, so that was excellent.
and I mean, for the residents to bring that road up to standard, it would cost
right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, and there's not many residents on the road.
Or not.
Correct, yeah, there's this one
Right.
seasonal resident or one seasonal recreational property.
Yeah.
on the 1.3 kilometer stretch, I believe.
So just so we're clear, what I read in the report, if it's adopted by council, is we would just do it as a on priority basis as you can when your team can get to there to maintain brushing
Yeah.
and some gravel work or whatever if that needs to
Correct, yeah,
happen.
so essentially like inclement weather events and stuff like that to come down, fill in the potholes, fix the washouts, that sort of thing, just some in-house maintenance. Not essentially widening and bringing the road back up
No.
to spec, but
No, no,
just
no.
making it passable, so to speak, so.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
And how many residents are beyond the unmaintained portion?
On Boxwell,
Yeah,
I personally don't have that number right here. I just looked into the section that was in question
But
of the
they,
unmaintained portion.
but the residents that are on the maintained portion, they can go out either way. They don't have to
yeah,
go through
that's
there,
right,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, like there's currently a sign at both ends, I believe, that states it's a seasonally maintained road from this point. Like from where the sign is put in the land to the opposite side.
Because the really big issue is the bridge,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Correct, yeah. And I know this year we're actually up for another bridge study, as required by law. So that being said, I know the past study turned out that the bridge was rated, I believe, poor to
Yeah.
fair, yeah. Yeah, so on the bridge condition index, it only came in at a 57. So it's pretty low. Also attached the old bridge report from 2022, just for reference. So there are some notes in there on what all needs to be done to bring it back up to par. So
Is it fair to say that's will end up being our biggest liability? Potholes is one thing,
yeah,
but I mean,
no, the bridge essentially is the biggest liability. Like as it stands right now, it's not passable even for a plow truck or heavy equipment.
right.
I wondered about passing over it a few years ago. Pass it over it now. We went back there to get a Christmas tree a long, long time ago, and we went over that bridge, and I thought, oh, no. I think I like this bridge very well.
So are we looking to put signs up then that they use at own risk?
Yeah, that was one of the options.
Okay.
And to wait the bridge study, honestly, because if there's,
Essentially, if they do the study and they deem that it needs to be closed, or
you'll have to come back to
then
council.
we'll have to come back
Yeah.
and think of another option.
So you'll bring it back to our Public Works Committee meeting,
Yeah,
the
I believe
draft
so.
policy?
Yeah,
Okay. So all in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, whereas Public Works Manager will be creating a plan for maintaining municipal roads and improving conditions. Therefore, the committee recommends to council that staff be authorized to update the GIS system according to document the plan and record the improvement. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark. The council adopt a policy for the assumption of unmaintained municipal roads and private roadways throughout the township of Bonnfield, and that township employees maintain seasonal roads, including Boxwell Road, on a priority basis during summer months to the best of their ability to fill potholes and trim trees when possible. All in favor, or any questions, sir? All in
Yeah,
favor?
Well, I have a bit of a question.
Oh, you have a question,
Yeah,
sorry?
I mean, so private roads, we are not touching at all, right? Like.
and that would be outlined within the policy.
Okay, good,
The
'cause-
distinct difference between unmaintained, seasonal, and
Perfect.
private.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next, we have the Recreation Committee. Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that the Recreation and Fitness Committee recommends to council that an application for the Ontario Arts Presenter Project be submitted on behalf of the Township of Bonfield. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Next, we have moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Clark, that the Recreation and Fitness Committee recommends to council to accept the attached schedule of meetings for the year 2024. All in favor? Carried. Before I move to the next one, to the Police Services Board, of course, I get my news from the Facebook page sometimes. Is there some confusion about who's going on the rink when, or when the little kids go on there and when the big kids go on? Do we have a schedule that we have on our municipal Facebook page? I'm not sure.
The schedule was changed. Excuse me, the schedule was changed twice based on volunteers that were able to do like a learn to skate program for us. The schedule was put out pretty early, and then it was changed once and people had both copies. So with working with everybody last week, now the schedule is going to say at the top of it, like January 2024, February 2024, not just the rink schedule. There was never dates or years on it.
Mhm.
So even one that was being shared around was actually from last year. So as we're getting busier and more people are using the rink, because the rink's been in great condition, we've had some small issues, but they've been pretty minor. Everybody's
Mhm.
been pretty respectful.
Okay, very well. I just wanted to be sure that there is a schedule, or I have to say, I know the Recreation Committee in the office is very well organized when it comes to that. So I just thought I'd pose the question.
It's there.
All right. So next we have the Police Services Board. Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor McGinnis, that Neri Paquette be appointed as Chair of the Township Police Services Board. All in favor? Any question? Next, we have moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that Mark Vaillancourt be appointed as Vice Chair of the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board. All in favor? Moved by Counselor McGinnis, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board submits to council the attached 2004 Police Services Board budget for approval. All in favor?
Sorry, Mary, I have one question. So are there membership changes coming, that there was a review and then we are now in a different section, correct?
No, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay, so there's.
So for now, we have to maintain our Police Services Board that we have, maintain our meetings as we had,
Okay.
our secretary and our board members. Now it will change,
There's a review.
but when
coming,
it will
right?
change, I don't know, because this has been happening for 3 years. It's been 3 years ongoing. And finally, they've come to the point where they know what municipalities are going to be on what board.
Okay,
But so far, we maintain the position that we have.
So that's why there's the two. I was gonna ask, yeah, why is there two police service boards? But
Pardon?
that's why there's that on the agenda. There's kind of like two
Two,
police
yeah.
service boards.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
the one with East Ferris, Chisholm.
yes.
Okay.
And then,
so we're
but
joining that one, the East Ferris
yeah,
Chisholm. Board.
we are put in with the East Ferris.
Okay,
And Chisholm, East Ferris, Chisholm and Bonfield, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
is Calendar on their own?
No,
I'm not sure what part, but they're not with us.
Another-
calendar was in
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
There was a different one, but they are with that.
There's a
still different
report
board.
Yeah,
here.
there's
I read
a
it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find
yeah,
it. but-
yeah.
Yeah, I saw Calendar with nothing by it, right?
No, it flipped to the next page because I thought the
Yeah,
same thing.
went to the next page.
Yeah.
So the board members are changing, because I looked at the composition though, right? So the composition of the members will be changing, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it looks like there'll be.
Nine. It looked
No.
like
Yeah, three
nine,
elected representatives,
Right.
which there'll be three municipalities, so it's probably one from each.
one, right?
And then one citizen representative.
Oh, I
I
thought there
believe
was
it's, is
two,
it
Yeah.
two?
two citizen representatives.
So I'm trying.
It's a, there's a
desperately
total
find
of
it here.
9, right?
Just to go back before the township of Bonfield had their own police services board, it was called Noswin Police Services Board, and there was 3 municipalities on it. There was Chisholm, East Ferris, and Bonfield. And then for some reason, each municipality had their own board. Now there's changes to the Police Services Act. And actually, I think it's good the way that it's structured, if that's the way it's
Right.
going to be, because there's only 3 municipalities, right?
Mhm.
The calendar's not in with ours,
No.
no. So there's only 3 municipalities for the
Chisholm and
board,
East Ferris.
Yeah,
which is not bad. At one time when we first heard them talking a year or 2 ago, it seemed like would be lucky if we had a board member on there, or if
Right.
every municipality would have representation on there. Now it appears that we're going to have 2 people on the board.
Oh, because we've got, okay, so we've got 3 council seats and then, 4 community representatives.
Yeah.
one and
Okay.
2 provincial appointees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so, right, so it's,
and we don't have a provincial appointee, and we haven't had a provincial appointee for how many years? 3 or 4 years?
I
at
believe
least.
so, yeah.
okay. So
So,
it's possible in the future, there's only going to be 2 representatives from Bonfield
Yes.
sitting on this board, okay.
So what I'm reading, it's a letter to the CIO for the municipality of Chisholm, which outlines all of this. And it says that the minister of the Attorney General, or that the Attorney General has signed this new structure in the report. Does that get us closer to the implementation of the new
They expect implementation in April.
Oh,
of
okay,
April
2024?
okay, so it's
Okay,
coming in
that's
a
good.
couple months.
yeah, they haven't indicated when this is coming about yet,
No,
right?
yeah, the CIO was hoping April 2024 is what they're saying.
Yeah, I have a meeting with the CAO of East Ferris and Chisholm, and where we'll be discussing what we're doing, which is why I need the further in the agenda, there's appointments to that board.
Great.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see.
Mhm.
Because we have, according to the bylaws before, we had to have 4 meetings, right?
Yes, yes.
So our meetings are scheduled until they tell us that we're going to the other board. I think we still want the representation from the police to come here to keep us up to date on things and to report to us. We still received our quarterly report in our last meeting, and we're kept informed by the OPP. So until they tell us this is actually happening, we'll continue with it the way that we have it.
And then when the date is set, then we will have a meeting to dissolve our board.
And then turn it over. And it'll be up to the province to appoint the provincial appointees.
Mhm.
Hopefully they're better than what they have been in the past, because we've had a 2-person police board for a long time. So
Pretty
going
short
to a
meetings,
larger board, hopefully
Short
that,
meetings there,
pardon?
short meetings?
Yeah.
Two people, yeah.
Well, the police still come in and give
Yeah.
us their reports, and we go through that, and then we can pass the budget.
Yeah.
That was the important thing, but I'm pleased that it's going to go that way, that we're still allowed to put 2 people on that board and have a say. You know, we were part of the interviewing process for the detachment commander, and that's part of being having a contract with the OPP. Where I sat in the interviewing process. I found it very interesting, and I felt that it does. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it certainly shows us what the interviews are like and the questions and what the people that were interviewed, what they expect to
Yeah.
provide to us. So I found that part interesting too. So,
It's good for transparency.
yeah.
And sorry, if I could, I just think it's important, why it's important, that's obviously is, you know, it's a valuable service to our citizens, but it's also $340,000 that we spend on the OPP as a municipality, so it's important that we have our interests taken care of at the table, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that wasn't the impression we had a while back. So when we had our meeting, I was happy to hear. And then our CAO has met with the other members and has spoken with them. So it looked like that's what's coming into play. And I'm happy with that. Okay, moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Featherstone, that the attached schedule of meetings for 2024 be approved by the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board, and that the schedule of meetings for 2024 be submitted to council. All in favor?
No, I'm just trying
That's,
to. recall.
maybe we're not having any meetings,
Yeah.
but at the
Right.
time
Yes,
to
yes,
continue,
no, that's right.
we
No,
have
for
to
sure.
do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I was just wondering if we voted on the last motion.
No, I think my question,
Right, I
Yeah,
don't think we voted.
no.
you just need to call the vote.
I did call for
You
Mark
did?
Bancor,
No.
Yeah, yeah, for Mark.
I voted for.
Did we
No,
vote?
the
And
approval
the
of the
budget?
budget.
Yeah,
in the budget.
Okay,
okay, sorry, thank you.
we're all voting yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No choice.
It's already ticked off, there's no choice.
Yeah.
We gotta pay it. So next we have moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGinnis, that the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board submit their annual membership fee for the year 2024 in the amount of $879.83 to the old APSB once funding becomes available.
So are we going to, if the new structure kicks in, is this gonna be part of whatever fees we have to pay for that?
That'll be part of it,
Okay.
yeah. Because we'll still want to be part of the Ontario Police Services
Yeah.
Association of Police Services Board. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have, and if things don't go the same way as it's supposed, or the way we figured it is, then this, will we still go to the?
I believe so, yes.
Yep, the
Yep.
conference, okay. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark, that Neri Paquette, Mark Bancor, and Andre Gagne be approved to attend the Ontario Association of Police Services Board 2024 OAPSB Spring Conference and the AGM at the Blue Mountain Resort held June 3rd to June 5th, 2024, and that all expenses be paid as set out by the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Bonfield. All in favor?
Nope.
I
Oh,
have a
sorry.
question,
Yeah.
sorry. So if the membership changes though,
We will, I know Mark and I will still have to go.
Yes, I
Um,
won't be going because I'll will no longer be secretary.
okay,
So mine will,
so then will we have to pass some motion again?
No.
You just don't go?
I just don't go.
Okay,
Okay, that's great. That was my question as well. Thanks.
Okay, is it all okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Carrie? Oh, it's flew through there. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board recognizes that council approves the budget in spring or early summer of each year, and that the Township of Bonfield Police Services Board recommends to council that council approve an amount of $5,000 so that the board can conduct business as usual until the 2024 budget process has been completed. All in favor? Carried.
think you can call on the deputy mayor to read any long.
Oh, wow.
This one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can.
Okay, so
Madam Mayor, we
this
can
is
address-
for items for,
I believe that we missed two on the committees, one for the emergency
Yeah,
7B.
emergency management and fire
We
department.
missed them. There's no resolutions. We just didn't find what those
Off the
minutes
agenda.
Yeah,
on the agenda. 7B. And just a further discussions about the outdoor rink. The outdoor rink right now is closed.
Yeah.
Weather conditions.
Yeah, as of yesterday, just in an effort to save wood ice is there and keep it in good condition. Thursday night, it's supposed to get cold again,
Mhm.
so I'm hoping to get staff out there, put another flood down, and hopefully it tightens up, so.
Might be on the previous page.
There's signs
Yeah,
posted.
the
7B.
previous
Yeah,
page.
it was
And
on the
lights are off.
website too, so, yeah,
I
so I
skipped
shut the lights off,
something?
so I just wanted to jump back. and-
7B,
Touch on
Emergency
that.
Service Committee minutes.
oh,
Is there a motion for it?
no,
No, there's no motions. It's just if
7B?
we wanted to have a discussion.
Oh, it's just to see if there was a discussion on it. There is no motion for it.
oh, okay. We're going to go back for the,
Pending advisory.
where'd it go here?
Right there, 7.
Yep.
Emergency-
Emergency, I missed one
Two.
on the adoption of committee meetings. Motions, and that's B, Emergency Services Committee. We have the minutes of January 15th, 2024. Any questions or any discussion on that? Okay, we'll move back again.
well, we are, just want to say that we are, we have the community risk assessment that has to be completed by June 1st.
In June 1st, in order to get it to the council table.
Right, so we have to have our
Good.
information in, so we've been working diligently, and a new pumper truck engine was purchased for the Rutherglen station, so that the bush truck,
That's
yes.
good.
So
That's
I
good.
think that the Public Works manager is trying to get that installed, or,
Yeah, we've taken out the old engine so far, and our
Okay.
mechanics just looking at what it's gonna take to get the new one in, so.
okay, perfect.
Thanks, Donna. Okay, then we're going to move to 8 items for council discussion. And this is a letter from AORS Skills Development Fund application to develop a municipal equipment operator course. And be prepared, this is a long one. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark. Whereas municipal public work departments from across the province of Ontario provide invaluable services to our communities, ensuring the health and safety of all residents. And whereas if it was not for our municipal public works employees from across the province of Ontario maintaining our public road system, our communities would not be able to function, as emergency personnel could not respond to calls, school buses could not get our children to school, residents would not be able to get to work, school or appointments, and many more basic functions would not be able to happen. And whereas municipal public works departments are already feeling the impacts of labor shortage, which will only be exacerbated over the next 3 to 5 years, which will cause levels of service municipalities are able to provide to ensure the health and safety of our residents to decrease. And whereas there is currently no provincial-wide course that properly trains potential municipal public works employees, specifically relating to municipal heavy equipment. Therefore, it be resolved that the Township of Bonfield supports the work of the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors to develop a municipal equipment operator course to address this issue, and that the Township of Bonfield calls on the Province of Ontario's Ministry of Labour, Training, Immigration, and Skilled Trades to fully fund the municipal equipment operator course in 2024 through the Skills Development Fund. and that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Minister of Labor, Training, Immigration and Skilled Trades, Dave Pacini, Township of Bonfield members of Provincial Parliament, MPP Vic Fideli, and the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. Any comments? All in favor? After reading that big.
I was
Don't have any
gonna
comments.
ask you to reread it. But
I missed the first one.
yeah,
All in favor? It seemed like really good idea. There's certainly, if there's money to come in there and to help train our people.
absolutely.
Okay. Next, we have sad news. Resignation of Fire Chief Jill Sladall. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that council accepts the resignation letter of Fire Chief Gilles LaBelle and congratulates him on his retirement. Any comments?
Just being on the fire department, you can see that Chief LaBelle's passion is really fire, and we've been lucky to have him for 27 years. So, so I don't know, it might be sad for us, but I don't know that it's sad for him.
No, that's right.
And I
yeah,
really
and
wish
just-
him the
yeah.
best.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
his
yeah,
service. I
yeah.
mean,
Yes, all I can say is congratulations, Gilles, but it's going to be a huge loss to our municipality. And thank you for your 27 years of service. It's been a long time. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a motion moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark. The council accepts the information presented and not approve the request to purchase land. However, council approves in principle, accepting that Ms. Lindquist will apply for a shoreline road allowance purchase and shall be responsible for all disbursements incurred by the township and submit a $3,000 deposit prior to the commencement of legal work upon agreeing to the alternative recommendation. And this is with respect to the Melanie Lindquist purchasing township property. However, the recommendation is that she purchase the shore road allowance, right? Any
Simplifies
questions?
the matter completely if she does that. Because the M&R does have the dam over here, there will still be a lot of comment that we have to wait for other authorities to give to us. However, I think this would be the simplest way to satisfy both parties.
She wants to put up some fencing to protect her animals. And,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
but not the parking lot.
No,
So this property is the chunk between the parking lot where the grass is. She would like some of that property. But the surveys that we've looked at, it's a complex piece of land. The surveys that we've looked at do say it's crown land, and then there is connections with the dam. So it's just, we're not sure that the province will give up that land. So we can still accommodate what she needs to do if she purchases the road shore lot.
All in favor? Carried. We're back to the police services part again. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that Mary Paquette be appointed as council representative and that Mark Valancourt be appointed as community representative to sit on the Bonfield Chisholm East Ferris Police Services Board. All in favor?
Just one question. When I look at the community members, I don't know that we actually have a spot for it. We can recommend Mr. Valancourt for it, but I don't think we actually have a spot on the new
Yeah, there's 4.
dedicated to us.
Yeah. Well, there's 3
In
council
total?
seats, right?
Yeah, so
If I may, so the number 4 is chosen, so there will be one council appointee, community member from each of the municipalities. And then the board collectively will pick one additional community member. There, in the regulations, there is a ratio on what you can have for a council member versus community member. So you have to meet those regulations. So that's how they determined how that had number 4, and the 4th one would be appointed.
And under the same assumption, each municipality would get one. That's why there's 3. Yeah.
Yes.
It just says 3, doesn't say that it's automatically, but there's an assumption.
Yeah.
That's great.
You good with it?
Yep.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have resolutions, a resolution to adopt bylaw 2023-4 to enter into a plan review agreement with the BMCA. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Clark, that bylaw 2023-49, being a bylaw to enter into a plan review agreement with the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, as presented and considered, read 3 times and passed this 30th day of January 2024. All in favor?
I have a question. So it reads a 5-year contract with an automatic additional 4 years. Is that?
Yeah, so why doesn't it just say 9 year?
Right, like, and I mean, what, I don't
Weird
want to
language.
sign for 9 years. I mean, why give another council, let them make, see if there's another option in 4 or 5 years. Like 9 years is, we shouldn't be signing up another council for stuff like this.
Did we write this or did they write this?
They brought that. So
Yeah.
we could amend the resolution just to say for a 5-year term.
Okay.
At the end of the resolution, just write for a 5-year term.
I'm happy with that.
With a possible
You could
extension.
amend.
I mean, we can say a possible extension for 4 years.
So you want me to amend
Optional.
this?
It's gotta be optional, not mandatory. right?
Right. Yeah. Do you want
You
to?
want bar-
No, sure. Sorry, I actually have a pen. And to the plan review North Carolina Township as presented and consider for a 5-year term. Do you want me to add in with this possible extension, or it
No,
doesn't even matter?
Okay.
This is question.
So are you good with, I read for this far, for a 5-year term? We added for a 5-year term. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a resolution to adopt bylaw 2024-05 to enter into a building service agreement. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that a bylaw 2024-05 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Bonfield, the Corporation of the Township of Papineau Cameron, Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin, and the Corporation of the Municipality of Matawan for a chief building official to enforce the building code as presented and considered, read 3 times, and passed this 30th day of January 2024. All in favor? Carried. The resolution next is to continue participation in the 2024 North Bay Hazardous Waste Depot. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the Council of the Township of Bonfield recommends continuing participating in the household hazardous waste program with the City of North Bay for the year 2024 at the cost of $4,320. Any questions or any comments?
I'll just say it breaks down to $4 per dwelling, so it's actually great value that
Right.
people have access to the hazardous waste depot. So
I agree. All in favor? Carry. Okay. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the Council for the Township of Bonfield receives the bids for RFP for planning consulting services from number 1, JL Richards, number 2, Tulloch, And further, the awards a request to the proposal, for the proposal to Tulloch. All in favor? Carried. Resolution to award Integrity Commissioner contract. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark. Whereas the request for proposal for Integrity Commissioner services did not receive any submissions. Now therefore, council agrees to release the proposal until March 1st, 2024. All in favor? Carried.
Is there any opportunity to share an integrity commissioner or to get on board with another municipality's contract? Or
Yes, so I do believe area municipalities did do a joint RFP.
Okay.
I'm not sure when their contract expires for that, but I can reach out for sure.
Okay,
to see when it
okay.
expires.
Okay.
I did send our RFP to the integrity commissioners of the area, from the area municipalities, but we still didn't get a response, but perhaps the time frame is too short.
So, but we don't pay a retain per service. So really doing a shared service. Unless it's by volume, like we all get a break because there's gonna be that many that the integrity
economy of
commissioner,
scale, yeah.
like there's no real advantage to doing a joint RFP.
No, it just saves time when collectively municipalities are working together. Then we
Yeah.
get one RFP as opposed to
Okay,
several, but
yeah,
There's no retainer?
no.
No.
there is a retainer.
We
Well,
did pay
apparently
one.
there was a
Yeah,
retainer
there
on
is a
this one.
retainer.
Yes,
yeah.
there was a
Typically not
retainer. This one there was.
Yeah, I thought I saw that.
Mhm.
A retainer with the contract or we only go 1 year at a time or?
This one was for a couple of years.
It expired.
Tomorrow.
December, yes, expires tomorrow, but
Mhm.
there was a retainer paid yearly.
Okay,
Do you recall approximately how much?
3,000,
3,000?
wasn't it 3,000?
I'm not sure.
That's the number I remember. I don't know why that's in my head, but that's what I thought it was.
Okay, thank you.
next we have correspondence. We have a motion to receive the correspondence that were circulated with our agenda. Am I just going through this and asking if there's any?
Any correspondence that council would like to support, there to let me know, and it will be brought back at the next meeting.
Okay, so I'll just go through these and you can just tell me no or yes. Yes or no.
And there's a motion to accept the correspondence as well.
Pardon?
There's a motion to accept all of the
Yeah,
correspondence.
I'll accept
Yes.
the correspondence first and then I'll go through it, yeah. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark. The council receives the correspondence circulated with the agenda of January 30th, 2024. All in favor? Carry. Now I'm going to go through it. MPP Todd Doherty requiring the posted 988 posters in all municipal buildings.
Yes,
You're in
please.
favor of that?
Yep.
Town of Mono declares road safety emergency number 2.
So that is about raising the speed fines. 'Cause they
Fines
say,
and
yeah,
stuff,
it
yeah.
hasn't been done for a long time. So I think that it's a good idea. I would like to see, there's this very small stretch of Highway 11 that's 110 kilometers. I mean, that could be a longer stretch at 210. So I'm hoping that that's all part of this. right?
210.
210. Wow, you really wanna go.
Yeah.
She wants to fly.
Well, she goes to Toronto a lot, so.
Not as fast as Alex, but
Yeah, at 110,
at
yeah.
110. So hopefully this will come with that review as well, that I in principle agree
So,
with
yes.
raising the fines for speeding and.
So that would be a yes?
Yes, I think so. The next, we have the Prince Edward County regarding expanding the lifespan of fire apparatus. And I think that's for support for funding, right?
yes, Yeah,
City of Mississauga regarding significant reforms to the landlord and tenant board. Ah, there's so many outstanding,
yeah,
They're
yeah.
crazy.
I
Cases,
know,
like-
because they've gone virtual only, right? Yeah, so,
oh, we can support it, I guess.
yes, yes.
And then we have the North Bay Board of Health agenda.
Mhm.
That's just minutes. Township of Clearview regarding cemetery transfer, abandonment, administration and management of support. I think it's a very good idea that the province takes it
Yeah,
over
yeah.
instead of the municipalities. when
I
the-
believe it's one of the reasons why the township took ownership of Mount Pleasant, because it's actually in Calvin.
Yeah.
And I believe there was thought of closing it if Calvin took it over, and then Bonfield agreed to take it over. Most of our residents from Red Glen are there, so.
Yeah, so this would provide us funding, potentially for that.
Yeah,
If
I
we can
think that's a
upload
good
something
idea.
Yes,
that'd be
yeah,
great.
I know,
I support that.
yes.
Township of Georgian Bluffs asking the province to undertake a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure. You're gonna be busy typing up all these motions. Library board minutes.
yes, we had a great meeting with the library board. I believe yesterday there was estate planning at the library. Tomorrow, there's going to be a resume clinic, resume and cover letter clinic as well.
And then we just a letter from the minister for our provincial payments. And the agenda
Well, yeah,
has,
what that is, that's kind of important though, is it not? Because we're
Yeah.
behind. So
Right,
they're
so-
withholding funds. They're
Right,
withholding funds because our FIR isn't in yet, right? So, and that was what we we looked at for 2022. So we have not received anything
We
yet.
haven't, it has been submitted.
Oh, it
We
has.
missed the deadline by a
Okay,
week.
okay, so,
Well, the deadline is really made in September.
Yeah.
So,
They're
but it
gonna-
is in, it's,
and we're gonna get that payment that. they
Yeah,
held.
we'll get the payment
and the
in
retroactive,
quarter two.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
Yes.
thank
yeah,
you.
they don't not give it to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. And
Do you
then
want
we have, the next we have council goes into closed session. So I would like to thank everybody that has come to our meeting tonight, but now our meeting will go into closed session, so there's only the council members and the staff in that meeting. So thank you very much for coming to our meeting tonight.
I will end the recording and then close off everything.